Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to all of you. Children, today we will study about the Blue Rebellion and aftermath. Now, the word Blue Rebellion itself indicates the indigo which we have studied in this chapter. Yesterday we have seen how the indigo is being prepared and how the procedure of whole fermentation from plantation to factories and all the fermenting vats and beater vats, and then again the process of how it has been prepared in a blocks and how it has been taken out from the blocks and how it is sold in the market. That whole procedure we have seen yesterday. Now today, how this Blue Rebellion took place and what happened after that we will see in this chapter, and that is the last concluding part of this chapter. Children, now in March 1859, thousands of rioters in Bengal refused to grow indigo. We have seen that also in the last section, that many of the rioters were not happy by growing indigo. Why? Because they have been stuck up in a vicious cycle of the loan. Means they have been taking loans. Means once the harvesting has been completed, a new loan was sanctioned, and again that whole procedure has been taking place. So they are been stuck up in the cycle of a loan which was never ending procedure, right? And next, they were also, their lands where they were growing indigo was also becoming unfertile. Means they were not able to cultivate rice. Now as we all know that Bengal is a most producing rice producing state, right? We can say that, and that is a staple food of Bengal also. So they cannot able to cultivate rice on that land because the fertility decreases day by day by growing indigo. After an indigo harvest, the land could not sow with the rice because उसके roots इतने deep rooted होते हैं और उसकी वजह से बहुत सारी लैंड जो है वो अनफर्टाइल हो जाती थी, फर्टिलिटी कम हो जाती थी, तो यू आर नॉट एबल टू ग्रो राइस एनी मोर. सो दैट वॉज ऑल्सो द रीजन वाई दिस रियोटीज वर अपसेट, राइट? As the rebellion spread, rioters refused to pay rents to the planters. They started refusing to pay the rents to the planters and attack indigo factories. They attack indigo factories. वहाँ पे उन्होंने जाके तोड़ फोड़ की, बहुत सारा नुकसान भी किया. आर्म्ड विद swords and spears, हथियारों के साथ वो सज होके वहाँ पे गए. bows and arrows. Women even, they also started rebelling, right? They also, whereas they were not being professional as an army, but then whatever they got with their kitchens, all the pots and pans with the kitchen implements, they started rebelling with that household utensils also. Those who worked for the planters were specially socially boycotted. They were boycotted, and the gomastas, that is agent of planters who came to collect rent, were also beaten. जो प्लांटर्स की तरफ से जो रेंट कलेक्ट करने के लिए आते थे उनको भी लोगों ने बहुत बुरी तरह से पीटते थे और मारा था. So who came to collect this rent were beaten, and riots swore that they would no longer take advance to sow indigo nor be bullied by the planters, that is Lathials, right? Now rioters also started taking a sworn that they sworn के उन्होंने प्रण लिया कि अब से वो और कोई ज़्यादा लोन नहीं लेंगे प्लांटर्स के पास से, और दे विल नॉट सो इंडिगो नॉर दे विल बी बुलिड बाय द प्लांटर्स. And Lathials, the lathi welding strongmen maintained by the planters, means as they were as good as bouncers or pelwans जो हमारी भाषा में हम कह सकते हैं. So they keep these people so that they can bodyguards or Lathials, what we call, right? So they were also the people, they were refused, they were not now bullied by this planters Lathials, right? Now why the indigo peasants decided that they would no longer remain silent. What gave them the power to rebel? Clearly indicating the indigo system was intensely oppressive. But those who were oppressed do not always rise up in a rebellion. They do so only at times, right? Every time they were not being oppressed, they didn't rose up. They didn't rise up for the rebellion. वो आगे नहीं आते थे, वो आवाज़ नहीं उठाते थे as every time. In 1859, the Indigo riot felt that they had the support of the local zamindars and the village headmen in their rebellion against the planters. And many village headmen who had been forced to sign indigo contracts mobilized the indigo peasants and fought pitched battles with the Lathias. Now this was the situation that in many villages what happened, headmen who had been forced to sign the indigo contract mobilized the indigo peasants. उन्होंने इंडिगो पीजेंट्स को मोबिलाइज किया, उनको यहाँ से वहाँ लेकर गए एंड फॉट पिच बैटल्स विद द लठियास. इन अदर प्लेसेस इवन द जमींदार्स वेंट राउंड विलेज अर्जिंग द रायट्स टू रेजिस्ट the planters. These zamindars were unhappy with the increasing power of the planters and angry at being forced by the planters to give them land and on a long lease. Means they were also, these zamindars were also very unhappy with the increasing power of the planters because these planters and they were forced because all the powers were with now planters. Now zamindars were not having any what you can say powers, and they were also angry at being forced by the planters that to give them the land for the long lease. They forced this zamindars, means planters forced the zamindars to give away their lands they offer them for a long lease with a good amount of a lease. Now because of this, the indigo peasants also imagined that the British government would support them in their struggle against the planters, right? So what happened? After the revolt of 1857, the British government was particularly worried about the possibility of another popular rebellion. Now here what happened, Queen Victoria ordered a magistrate of Barasat, that is West Bengal, to issue an order which states that riots would not be forced to enter into the indigo contract. Means here the queen itself who was at Britain, London, she ordered one magistrate of Barasat. Barasat is a one place in West Bengal, and she issued an order which states, जिसमें ये लिखा था that riots would not be forced to enter into any indigo contract. Means they are not now forced to grow indigo. It is up to their wish. If they are willing to grow indigo, then it is fine. But no planters will force them to grow indigo anymore. So that was the thing. Now British government was particularly worried about the possibility of another popular rebellion when the news spread of the simmering revolt in the indigo districts, right? The lieutenant governor toured the region in the winter of 1859. The riots saw the tour as a sign of government sympathy of their plain. When in Barasat, the magistrate Ashley Aden issued a notice stating that the rioters would not be compelled to accept indigo contract. Word went around that Queen Victoria has declared that indigo need not be sowed. Now ये उन्होंने पूरा बता दिया कि this was the words of a Queen Victoria. Now Aden was trying to placate the peasants and control an explosive situation. Means the situation was getting worse and worse day by day. So, but this his action was read as a support for the rebellion. पर इसका ये अर्थ लोगों ने ये समझा कि नाउ दे आर नॉट ए सपोज टू ग्रो एनी काइंड ऑफ इंडिगो प्लांटेशंस, मतलब उसको अलग तरीके से लोगों ने समझा और उसको गलत तरीके से लोगों ने लिया. नाउ here what happened, as the rebellion spread, intellectuals from Kolkata rushed to the indigo districts. As we have seen that the situation was getting worse day by day, so many intellectuals from Calcutta rushed to the districts of the West Bengal, and they wrote of the misery of the riots, the tyranny of the planters, and the horrors of the indigo system. Now what happened? Worried by the rebellion, the government brought in the military to protect the planters for assault and set up the indigo commission. Now इसके चलते ये हुआ कि ये सिचुएशन को हैंडल करने के लिए उन्होंने एक पूरा कमीशन सेटअप किया था, और ये कमीशन सेटअप करने के पीछे ये हेतु था कि एन इंडिगो कमीशन वाज सेटअप टू लुक इनटू द मैटर एंड दे कंक्लूडेड फॉलोइंग थिंग्स. पहला ये कि प्लांटर्स वर फाउंड गिल्टी. उन्होंने देखा कि जो प्लांटर्स थे दे वर ऑलरेडी वो गुनहगार थे. उन्होंने फोर्सिबली सारे रायट्स को फोर्स किया ताकि इंडिगो उगाने के लिए, राइट, विच वॉज नॉट good, right, that this should not happen, right. Second ये था कि planters were forcing riots to enter into the contract. That was the second. And third, indigo cultivation was not profitable for riot. We have seen that indigo cultivation was also not profitable for the riotees because they were not getting much more by growing this indigo, right. Now fourth was as कि riots were asked to fulfill the existing contract. जो उनका existing contract था उसको fulfill करना है, but they got the rights to refuse. Yes, but they also got at the same time they also have a right to refuse the प्लांटेशन टू ग्रो इंडिगो कल्टिवेशन इन फ्यूचर. अगर वो नहीं चाहते इन फ्यूचर टू ग्रो इंडिगो then they can refuse. That was the another point. So ये सारा points है जो ये commission setup किया था उसमें सारा points discuss करना था, right. But actually after the revolt the production of indigo came to an end in Bengal and shifted to Bihar. By this what happened, the whole revolt rebellion came to an end because after the revolt the production of indigo just came down in Bengal and it all shifted to Bihar. Actually what we can say, the situation as we all have seen that riotees were not willing to grow indigo anymore. Next thing was instead of getting more profit, many new synthetic dye was also introduced. So because of that was also another reason. Because of that in Bengal the economic crisis arose and the indigo was not much more in a demand. So that is one of the reason it also shifted to Bihar. Now after the revolt indigo production collapsed in Bengal, but the planters now shifted their operation to Bihar. With the discovery of synthetic dye in the late 19th century, their business was severely affected, but yet they managed to expand the production. Now when Mahatma Gandhi returned from South Africa, a peasant from Bihar persuaded him to visit Champaran. When Mahatma Gandhi was returning from South Africa, at that time one peasant of Bihar, from Bihar, persuaded Mahatma Gandhi to visit Champaner and see the plant of indigo cultivators there. See the situation what the indigo cultivators are facing. So Mahatma Gandhi visited in 1970, marked the beginning of a Champaner movement against the indigo planters. So by this we end up our this chapter. I will shortly provide you notes and question answers of this chapter. By that time, stay safe, stay secure at your place. Have a nice day. Thank you.